What's going on, everybody? My name is Colin, and I realized I had done a video of side by side of my two bikes, and I absolutely love both of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a walk around of both bikes. This is a 2017 Harley Davidson Street Glide Special, and this is a 2021 Harley Davidson Pan America Special. So I'm going to walk around them and kind of show you everything I've done to them over the years, well, this one specifically over the years, and this one in the last like 6 to 8 months. I totally dig both these bikes, man. I mean, obviously the different one's an adventure bike with the Pan America, and the Street Glide's more of a bagger touring, but you can tour on that thing just as well. So let's start with the Street Glide Special. And I've had this thing, since I bought it, I think early 2017 or late 2016, if I remember. And I actually used to have a 2016 model, a Street Glide Special, but I traded it in because I wanted to get the Milwaukee 8. I test rode it once and I was like, ooh, what a freaking difference this was. So I ended up trading the 16 in for the 17, and that color is called Superior Blue. Love that color, it like pops in the freaking sunlight, man. But over the years, I've added a lot of stuff to it, let's just put it that way. And let's see, where do we want to start here? I'll start up on right here. So I did the Stage 3 upgrade on the engine within about a year, and the stock wasn't bad. I mean, you got to remember when this came out, the stock's 107. So with the Stage 3, it basically turns it into a 114 with the displacement. A little bit faster, but not much. And then I got the heavy duty air cleaner here. And somebody told me that they can't get, I guess it's red now, you can't get it kind of like the smoke color. I don't know if that's accurate or not. And then heading towards the back here, we'll start with these. This actually came to me from a follower of the channel. That was so cool, because these used to have like pegs. And when my wife started riding, I mentioned it, and he actually sent me his floorboards, which was awesome. I couldn't believe he did that, so thank you, sir. And then behind these things are the Legend Revoe shocks, so I put those on. Great suspension there. I did the Reinhardts, so those are the Reinhardt slip-ons. And then this big monstrosity right here, I added a tour pack, which basically turned it into a Street Glide Ultra. And what a difference, man, especially for two-up riding. My wife loves it. And I actually thought I would take it off a lot more, but I haven't. I think I've taken it off twice. And I know there's definitely pros and cons to taking it off or leaving it on, but I've left it on. I mean, the bike definitely rides different when it's off, but I love this thing. It's got tons of space to it, added a luggage rack to it. It's made a huge difference, so I'm glad I picked that up. Let's go to the seat here. So this is a Mustang touring seat, and best seat bar none I've had. Now, I went through a couple different seats with this thing, trying to get it right. And then finally with this, and this is like a one piece, and then this just slides out, the backrest. I love it, man. It's such a freaking difference on the ride. And now listen, don't make fun of these. I know, the beads, but I have back issues, and even with the seat and the suspension, there are all reasons why I did all these upgrades. It makes a real big difference actually on my back. And plus, if you ever get rained on, or if you're caught in a storm, this actually raises you up a little bit. The looks of them, yeah, they're not the best, but they do the job. And then recently, I think within a year, I put the 12-inch LA choppers on, the bars. And again, another incredible upgrade. I always tell people this. I think your top upgrades, a lot of people talk about the engine and all that stuff. If I were to do it again, I would have got the bars, suspension, and seats in that order, or the top three for sure. And then going through a couple other things I put on this thing, heated grips, the mirrors right here. These are cool mirrors. They're made by Harley. Little teardrop here, and they've got that extra lens so you can see a little bit farther out. One of the first things I did, I bought a Freedom Shields, and that's what this is called right here. If I were to do it again, I'd probably get a little bit higher. This is a 8-inch, I believe. Probably would go to 10, but it still does a great job. Obviously, for those of you that watch the channel know that, I have a couple lights on this thing from Custom Dynamics. So I have I think this whole bike from front to back is covered. I'm not gonna go over every single light, but let me turn that down there. You get the point. So it really makes a huge difference with the ride and all the different lights I have on here. A lot of sequential stuff. But overall, man, absolutely love this bike. I mean, I'm glad I got a second one, which I'll go over in just a second. But this thing's been on many, many miles, many long distance trips. Gone to Northeast, Southeast, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia. I'm going to Ohio this year on this thing. Fabulous bike. And then you're gonna get the people that still say, why don't you go with a Road Glide? I test rode a Road Glide once. Phenomenal bike. And I'll be the first to admit it rides better on the highway than this one. But I just like the look of this. So maybe one day we'll see. I still got people say, I'm gonna switch over, I'm gonna switch teams. I might, not sure yet. We'll see. You know, I'm planning on keeping this thing for a while. I'm in no hurry to get rid of it. So let me show you, let me turn this off real quick. I want to drain the battery. This is the Pan America. And you're probably asking, what the hell did I buy an adventure bike for? I've always wanted an adventure bike. And even like 2 years ago, I was talking about looking at KTM's, you know, looking at their line. And then I found out that Harley was coming out with one. And I test rode this about a year ago down in Richmond, Virginia. I went with the local dealer, All American, and they took me out for a ride. Fell in love with it. Fits me perfect, and you know, a lot of people worry about because they are high. Obviously the ground clearance is a lot higher than my Street Glide, but still, it's just, this thing rides so damn smooth, and it surprised the hell out of me, the Revolution Max engine. So that's this thing right here, the 1250 Revolution Max V-twin. You know, it used to be called the Revolution when the V-Rod came out, and that was that engine. And this is the Revolution Max. It's high revving, so you're going to get most of your power band through this thing. Usually, probably in anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 range. Probably, I think it even goes up to 9,000 when you're redlining, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas this one, you know, even with the Stage 3, I'm peaking out at between 4,000 to 5,000 at my peak power. It's a total different style of riding. You know, where that has a lot of low end torque, this thing is just fast as hell. It surprised me when I was riding it how fast this thing goes. I mean, they have all these different modes to it: sport mode, road mode, rain mode. You can customize them, all the different things. Suspension is phenomenal. The brakes are fantastic. And here's the thing, I still see people, and it surprised me actually. I didn't think this would happen, but there's actually, it's not getting the buy-in from several Harley riders, which surprised me because I didn't think that would be the case. But there's still some people that are traditionalists, like, you ride this thing, that look at this and say, what the hell are you thinking, boy? I don't know. I mean, it's my style. I love it. I think if you're one of those people, get on one and try it. Obviously, it looks different. It's totally different style of bike. But it's a phenomenal ride. So some of the things I've done with this, and I have added a ton of upgrades to the Pan America, similar to what I did with the Street Glide Special. And just starting up front, you know, I did a cover for the lights. I actually got a new windshield, but I haven't put it on yet. Got highway pegs right here, and then got some heel guards right here. I got a little extender that brings up the brake pedal a little bit. The reason you do that is when you're standing, it raises it up just a hair. There's a thing called A1 risers, and that's those right there. So it raises your bar up 2 inches and then 1 inch back. So it makes it a huge difference when I'm riding. These things I just put on recently. God, I hate this freaking pollen. Sorry, got off track here. These are weighted, so they go on the end of your handlebars here, and it just reduces the vibration a little bit. So great little tool there, and it wasn't that expensive. Tank bag I put on. I put this little thing on. This isn't standard. This little, I don't know what's it called, little padding. I wouldn't really call it padding. This was my big investment last year. Got a pair of Moscow off-road panniers, and then I also did a bag. This is the Harley one, and then I did like a duffel for the bag. So like if I ever do predominantly off-road trips, I will take those, but I actually keep these on 90% of the time now instead of the hard panniers, because these are a lot thinner than the hard ones. Because with the big ones, your ass is really wide. Put on 50/50 tires. I don't know if you can see that because it's the shadows there. And a lot of people have asked, how the hell you ride on that thing on the pavement? They actually surprisingly ride very, very well on the pavement. Obviously better off-road. I added a longer skid plate cover on the bottom because the one that comes with this bike's a piece of junk. Over here I also added a radiator cover. What else did I do on this thing? I'm trying to think here. Obviously I've got the bag right there, or the top case from Harley. There are some seat options out there, but honestly, this one is very comfortable, surprisingly, because I've never had experiences with Harley. Some people have, where the stock seats are okay. This one's actually very comfortable. And here's what's gonna throw off some people. This thing is excellent at touring. I've done a couple rides where I've done like 300, 400 miles on this thing, and it rides great. You know, I mean, I have almost just as much as storage, maybe like 5% less on this one that I have with this one, even with the top case and luggage. When I had everything, I can get so much on this bike because these bags expand, and the duffel bag that I have made by Moscow Moto is a little bit bigger than that top case. But I'll probably keep the top case on predominantly because I can keep a helmet in there, and I can't with the duffel. And then I did a couple other cosmetic things to this bike, and so I've got some stuff on order still coming. You know, unfortunately, my favorite company, let's talk about Custom Dynamics, they don't make lights for this, so I've got some aftermarket lights coming, because the lights on this thing, the stocks, they're not so good. Let's just put it that way, they're okay. So hopefully there are some companies out there that make some great lights. A company called Denali Electronics, and I've got a couple things coming from there. And I did change the suspension, or not suspension, the exhaust. So that is a Screaming Eagle exhaust right there. The stock one was okay, and the sound of these things are nowhere near what these are. This sounds, all right, we got to do this, we got to turn it on here, and I'll show you guys the comparison of the two. Hopefully I'm in neutral here. I can do this because I am on my driveway here. Start this thing up. So the Reinhardts, they sound mean, man. They sound really good. I know it's always hard to hear audio from when you're filming, but trust me, these things are badass sounding. Okay, so you heard that. Now you're gonna come over and we're gonna turn this thing on, and you're gonna see the difference. Let's just put it this way. This does not sound like a traditional Harley. It doesn't. And I didn't expect it to. There they have some, let's see if I'm in neutral. Oh, I'm on neutral on this one. They have some exhaust companies or aftermarket ones that do make some exhaust ones. Like I said, I got the Screaming Eagle one. A little bit more of a whine. No potato, 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 potato. Not that much, at least. So a little bit different, right? But regardless, it's personal preference. I mean, if, you know, I know I'm not going to get this sound into this, but that's not why I bought this bike. I bought this bike so I can do different types of riding, because like I said, I've always wanted to do more off the beaten path riding. And while I could probably do some gravel with this one, don't really feel comfortable with it, whereas this one, it eats it up, man. This thing does really well off-road. Some people don't like the chain drive on this. Some adventure bikes make belts. This one's chain. No issues, man. I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, there you go, guys. So I wanted to give you kind of a rundown of my two bikes that I absolutely love. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. As always, appreciate you taking the time to watch. Now get out there and ride. Be well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.